Hello, everybody. So we are live again for today's show, Author Live Chat with Friends, Friday, fresh from the Oven series, and it is 27th November, 8 p.m. CST. We are live again for yet another exciting interview with an author. So today we're going to have author Terence joining us to talk about online dating over 50, right? So um, Terence wrote this book after finding himself on the verge of a divorce after 30 years of marriage. So he had never imagined that he would be in this position at this stage of his life. But here he was fighting to save or salvage a marriage that had clearly been over for a long time. So what Terence eventually realized was he really wasn't fighting to save or salvage a marriage, but rather he was fighting to keep something familiar in his life. So letting go of something you have known for most of your adult life can be a bit scary or even overwhelming for some. So as a result, he decided, despite his reluctance to dive headfirst into the world of online dating, which he credits with being a key component in helping him get through one of the roughest periods of his life. So he even says that online dating was therapeutic. So let's welcome author Terence to our show today. And I have to say that online dating for someone over 50 or even over 40 can be a little bit overwhelming or scary because how people can actually deceive you online or due to the fact that online dating has its own stigma, has its own skeptical views from society, right? So I think because of all this, not just older generation, I think even the younger ones will actually have their own dilemma to use to be on online dating platforms. So let's see how author Terence has successfully navigated through the difficulties, and let's hear his story. So I'm gonna add author Terence to the screen right now. Hello, Terence. Hello. Welcome to the show, Author Live Chat with Fan, and today's series, which is the Friday Fresh from the Oven series, because your book is a newly published, newly released book. So I'm very happy to have you on this show right now. And I'm sure we're going to be talking about a lot of exciting things. But before that, could you explain a little bit about yourself, Terence? Although I've actually given a brief introduction about yourself, but I think it would be good to hear from you. Yeah.
Okay, Jeff, thank you for having me on. You did a good job with the intro, telling. So I don't really have much more to say about myself, but I was born and raised in Los Angeles, California, and so you're right. After 30 years of marriage, I never expected that I would be in that position, of divorce. And so at this point, I still want to date. I originally wanted to save the marriage if that was possible, but when that wasn't going to happen, I still wanted to date. So, but the way that, I mean, the last time I was in the dating pool, things were a whole lot different. I mean, we found our partners either at clubs or nightclubs or parties or social gatherings, and so now everything is online. Online is the #1 way to meet people. So, going into it, I was really hesitant and doubtful because I didn't know where to start, what to do, and I had a cousin who was having a lot of fun on online dating. So he's one of the main reasons why I even gave it a shot.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of I didn't go in 100%. I wasn't totally committed, and so it's like they say you get out of it whatever you put in. I didn't get much out of it because I didn't put in much.
Mm-hmm.
And then I decided, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to really commit. I'm going to do what I need to do. I'm going to do a good profile, put good pictures on the site, and go for it. And I started to get results when I did that, and it was fun. The whole journey is fun. It's a lot of fun. It's nice to meet new people, and there's some strange people along the way, but for the most part, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and I got that out of it, and that's what kind of gave me the inspiration to write the book, because I wished at that time that I had a guide that can help me answer some of the questions I had and kind of ease the anxiety that I felt. And so that's really what this book is. It's a guide for people who have never experienced online dating or have just gotten started with online dating and they don't know where to go or what to do. It's a small book, but it's very informative. I try to cover as much information as possible to help people feel at ease when they're going through this process. Yeah, it was fun. The whole journey was fun. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
Right. So, in terms of coming to terms with a marriage that had failed after 30 years, so how do you actually cope with it?
Not
how
very
did you?
It was real painful. It was real painful because I didn't see it coming. I didn't expect it, and it was real tough. But online dating really helped me through it. I don't know what I would have done without it, because it was, I spent so much time on that once I committed that I didn't have time for my mind to wander and start, telling me things that. So anyway,
how was the transition? I mean, how long was the transition from the point where you you were facing issues in your marriage and to the point where you transitioned to online dating? Was it immediately, or was it like after 2 months, 3 months?
No, so, it was a few months in the transition, and it took really close to a year for me to totally make a turnaround and feel good about what was going on with the marriage and to concentrate on online dating. That process took almost a year, but to just transition to the online dating from the time that I knew the marriage was over, that was a few months.
Right. So, in terms of your book, right? So, how did you actually chance upon the idea of writing the book? Like, I mean, I know that you had quite a bit of an experience going through online dating, but when did the idea spark? Like, okay, I have to write a book on this.
Well, actually, I have to give that credit to my sister. It was funny because I was having so much fun with the online dating. It was like every weekend I was going out on dates. And so I would call her and talk to her and kind of share some of the experiences I was having with her. And she said, "You ought to write a book. You should write a book about this." And I didn't think much about it at the time, but later I started thinking, I said, you know what, she's right. Maybe I should write a book. But I didn't want to write a book on my experiences. I wanted to write a book, as a guide. So that's what I did. But I got inspiration mainly from my sister as far as writing the book. I probably wouldn't have done that on my own because I wasn't even thinking about that at all.
Right.
But she kind of sparked it and got the ball rolling. So I've gotten a lot of family support.
Okay. So, in terms of challenges in writing the book, what was the challenges in writing the book?
I can't really say. I didn't really have challenges as far as people. I didn't have challenges with people because I told very few people that I was even writing the book. The only people who knew I was writing the book were my immediate family. But I didn't tell anyone else because I didn't want to hear anyone's negative input. So, I didn't tell people until it was actually done. And I didn't really have any challenges because I was so passionate about it. I was looking forward to it. And it was fun the whole time that I wouldn't have let any challenges get in the way because I was going to do this. I definitely was going to do it. So, yeah. Again, the whole journey was fun. It was a lot of fun. Once I got closer to the end, to finishing it, I got anxiety because I wanted to get to the finish line. I wanted it to be up so I can see it, so I can see the book. So I can. So that was kind of I guess if I'm looking at any type of challenges, it was that anxiety that I got near the end because I wanted it to be done. But I had to stick to the process of research and all that, and make sure that I put out a good product. So, and it's a good book, and I'm not saying that because it's mine. It really is a good book. It's a good book. I would suggest anyone who's even thinking about online dating, and you don't have to be over 50 to get something out of this book. It has a lot of good information. And everything's been thoroughly researched.
Right. So, in terms of support, because you were saying that you didn't really tell anyone that you were writing a book, and you didn't want people to actually influence you negatively, so you kept it to yourself. But I believe that your immediate family members and friends knew that you were writing a book on it. And so tell us about how encouraging they were and the kind of support that you got from them.
Oh, I got tremendous support from my sister and my mother and my sons. I got a lot of support. I mean, my sister was probably the main one. She would come by every day. Hey, so how's the book going? What's going on with the book? So she would. She would kind of push me even when I didn't feel like writing. She would, hey, so because I knew I had to give her a report on the where I was with the book, so I knew I had to do something. So so yeah, but yeah, I wish I could. I asked her if she could have been here, but she had something to do. But it would be nice to have her here so she can talk to you. Yeah, I got a lot of encouragement, and my mother was very supportive. In fact, my mother is the one who, I was having a lot of problems with the cover to come up with a good cover. And if you look at the back of the book, my mother came up with the. Let me see if I can put it. If I can, the computer with the heart. With the arrow through the heart. That was her idea. And so, yeah, that was her idea. And so I really liked it. It was going to go on the front of the cover, but we decided to put it on the back. But this is going to be a series. We're going to make a series out of it. So you're going to see that symbol on every book that I write.
Okay. Yeah. So in terms of navigating through the difficulties in using online dating platform, because I think a lot of older generations fairly new to technology, and I think adapting to technology can be a little bit difficult for them. So how did you actually manage to navigate through, and how easy was it for you to use the online dating platform? Was it difficult? Was it easy? Tell us a little bit about that.
It was really easy because I have a little better than average computer skills, but if a person has average just basic computer skills, they'll be fine. If they can send emails, receive emails, they'll be fine. Because the online dating platforms, they've made them so user friendly now that there's not a whole lot that you have to do. So there's not a whole lot of technology involved trying to figure things out. They've made it really user friendly. So I don't think anyone will have problems navigating through the dating apps.
Right.
Yeah, and especially the ones that cater to the over 50 crowd. Those are really user friendly.
Ah,
Really
okay.
user friendly.
Right. So, in terms of the do's and don'ts while dating online, so what are your set of rules and what worked for you?
Well, one chapter that I have in the book, it's called um, "Proceed with Caution," and that's the advice I give people. Just be cautious. You don't have to be overly cautious, but just be aware of what's happening. Because there are people, I think the majority of people who are online or participating in online dating are legitimate, and they really do. They're looking for the same thing you are. But then there's always going to be the few who see it as an opportunity to take advantage of people. And so you just
Mm-hmm.
have to be aware. And all I would say is just don't give out any personal information. There's no reason for you to give any personal information to anyone online.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do spark a relationship and you want to meet the person, do not have anyone pick you up from the house. They don't need to know where you live. You can meet somewhere, make sure it's a public place, a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
there. And even when the date's over and you're leaving, just kind of make sure that no one's following you. I mean, just basic things, and all that is in the book. All that's in the book. Just things
Mm-hmm.
just to protect yourself. But every now and then you'll hear a horror story about experiences that people had on online dating. But for the most part, it's as long as you're aware, you're gonna be safe. You're gonna be
Mm-hmm.
fine. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Right. So, in terms of negative experiences that you can face online while you're dating online, so um, how do you, I mean, if at all you bumped into someone who is unpleasant, and if you have a negative experience out of it, so how do you overcome that? How do you
Oh,
not make that the stumbling block and fall back, but rather move on, move forward?
oh, shoot, Jazz. I had a few people just try to scam me out of money, and I think it's funny, um, because they're really good. See, the thing about they're really good at what they do. Some of these people, Jazz, this is their job. And see, people don't forget that this is their job. So their thing is to have you think that you're in a relationship with them. So they'll participate in that texting back and forth for months before
Mm-hmm.
anything, and because what it is to wear you down and to gain your trust. And
Mm-hmm.
then out of the clear blue, they need to borrow some money because something happened. Blah blah blah. They'll give it right back to you. I mean, I'm telling you, I had people tell me that I had this one girl who told me that her son was sick in the hospital. She sent me a picture of the little boy in the hospital. Now I have a big heart, so that was kind of I'm like, man. I mean, you have to tell yourself, do not give in, because people will do anything. This is their job. So I told her, I went as far as to tell her. I said, look, have the doctor send me, a request, because she wanted some money for this medication that was really expensive. And I said, have the doctor send me something telling me that, and I'll send the money to the doctor. I just wanted to, and so nothing came of it. But because I just wanted to make sure that if this was real, that I'm not saying no to somebody who really needs. You know what I mean? But for the
Mm-hmm.
most part, these people will tell you anything because this is their job, and
Mm-hmm.
their goal is to find people, somebody who's vulnerable, which there are a lot of vulnerable people online, lonely.
Mm-hmm.
They may have lost someone through death. They may have lost someone through divorce, whatever. A lot of these people have low self-esteem because some of them have gotten, had a partner that verbally, physically abused them or whatever. So so they aren't feeling real good about themselves, so they're ready to give in to anything. So that's what these people prey on, people like that. And so they'll test you. So the gut ones will string you along for months before they even ask you for anything. So by then you're on good terms. You think you know the person, this and the other, and then you're like, well, they would never do that to me. Yes, they will. Yes, they will. You know, and so I just, you know, the only advice is just until you actually meet someone and you develop something and you kind of, you know, you've been with that person, do not give out any information. Do not send any money. None of that stuff. You don't have to do that. It's not necessary.
Right.
Yeah.
So, in terms of your advice to older people, right? But I think before that, we have an audience to join us, your friend to join us,
Yeah.
and
Sure.
is there. So let's welcome her to the show as well, and let's. Hello there. Could you briefly explain about yourself, your name, where you're from, and how long have you known Terence for?
Oh, yeah, my name is Cheryl Alexander, and I'm also from Southwest California. And I've known Terence since we were little kids, since we were about 10 or 11 years old. So I've kind of had a backseat to witness his evolution through the journey that he's been on.
Right. So I think you have been seeing Terence journey all this while, and including the divorce and when he started writing his book, right? So do tell us a little bit about what you felt when you saw Terence marriage breaking apart, and the transition from him being upset and to the online dating period. So how was it? How was it as a friend?
Well, I'll start by saying I don't think I've ever seen a man in so much pain. It was very, very, very painful to watch his pain, and it was quite something. And you know, he got through that, and he had to go through stages of shock and grief and all of that. And I started to see a change. There was a little light at the end of the tunnel when he did start going online, and you know, had that interaction and that communication. And I think it gave him hope that he would be able to start a new life, and that there are people out there in the same situation that's just looking for love and a second chance at life.
So when he decided to write a book, what was your first? What was the first thing that came to your mind?
I just thought this makes so much sense, because he was sharing with me all of the adventures of online dating, and I was really interested because I was fairly newly single, and although, you know, I'm in a relationship, who knows how long you'll be in a relationship? And I'm thinking, wow, the next time I venture out there, I'm going to have to probably go online, you know, for dating. So I was kind of just going through, looking through him and his experiences, because I thought I could possibly be in that situation myself one day. And he was, you know, constantly sharing the different experiences that he had, and some of them were, you know, just amused. Sometimes he was very amused, and some of the relationships looked promising, and you know, there were disappointments along the way. So that whole thing has been kind of a journey. So when he told me that he was going to write a book or was working on a book, or I thought, no one greater than you, you know, just from a man's perspective. It's just very interesting hearing the different experiences and the way that he's navigated this online dating.
Right. So the outcome, right, Terence has gotten out of his online dating. So could you actually talk to us a little bit about that? What was the outcome?
The outcome of his experiences of online dating? Well, I'll put it like this. I think he's still in the process of venturing out there, looking, communicating with people. But it just, I believe that it gave him hope. And I started seeing, you know, as he was dating, just the communication with the opposite sex gave him a little pep in his step. And that really that was a turning point, you know, for him, where I could see him totally getting back to normal, feeling good about himself. And sometimes I think that's all we need. It's just to get out there, just to have the, you know, the communication and the companionship, you know, of online dating. He seemed like he was amused, it was enjoying, you know, the interactions. So I think it made a difference. And I mean, the best of all of it is the fact that he was able to write a very, very interesting book. The book is a really good read, and I've learned a lot, the acronyms. You know, there were so many things that I didn't understand. What does this mean? What does that mean? But the book really spells it out, and the book really gives a person over 50 a lot of hope. You know, I love what he said. Made a few notes in the book. Singles over 50 have an edge over everyone else. So that kind of gives you a shot in the arm, you know, letting you know that it's not all over. You know, he talks about this, you know, being over 50, you have experience, you're more appreciative, more independence, more confidence, maturity. And the maturity also comes with being great between the sheets. So, you know, just a lot of different things, you know, that we're more accepting and forgiving and, you know, all of that. So his book is a really good guide, and it's inspirational, and, you know, it gives you a lot of hope if you find yourself, you know, in this predicament. And I also like what you said, the fact that if you're out there on the dating scene, don't feel embarrassed. I don't think there is a stigma attached to that. I know I've felt that way before. So, you know, I figure if I have to venture out again, because I'm not married, you know, if I have to venture out again into this online world, his book has given me hope.
Yeah, I was just about to ask that actually. I mean, like, you know, how you felt after reading the book. Were you, before these, were you having, when it comes to, when somebody tells you that there's something called online dating, so were you skeptical about it? And then after reading the book, how you felt? But yeah.
Skeptical, and the thought of it was frightening. You know, but then you know, looking into the world of 2020, you see that that's really the way that most people are going, you know, online dating. So, you know, I figure, God, if I venture out there again, this is what this is the route that I'm going to go. And this book kind of gives me a little security, because there is a guideline. I've never seen anything else out there on this magnitude that gives you a guideline, almost like kind of holding your hand with, when you do decide to venture out for online dating. So there is a need for it, and it makes me feel hopeful. It gives me a little bit more security about venturing out that way.
Right. So Terence, we have a question for you here. So your advice to older people who are in loneliness due to relationship issues, and how to break away from the stigma of dating after 50. So what would you, the first thing that you think people who have just gotten out of walked out of marriage, right? So what would you tell them?
Well, first of all, I would tell them, you know, if you're close to 50 or 50 or over, it's not over. Your life is just starting. It's just beginning. You know, yeah. I want to back up for a second and just tell you, when my ex-wife, I met my ex-wife when I was in my 20s, and I met her at a nightclub. Okay, we met at a nightclub. those relationships very rarely work out. But 30 years later and 2 kids, here we are. You know what I mean? And so now that's not an option for me right now. So what I would tell people, that's not an option for you to find. Know that things have changed and go with it. It's okay. It's okay. Just don't rush into anything, and just also know that with online dating, you can set your standard. This is what you'll accept. This is what you want to accept, and you just hold to that. You have time. Let yourself know that it's going to take time. You're probably not going to find a person right away. Some people luck up and do. Some people, have it like that, where the first person that they meet, things click. But for most people, it doesn't work that way. So just know that you're in for the long haul. Relax, enjoy the journey, enjoy meeting new people. But you have your standards, and if somebody doesn't live up to what you want, you don't have to compromise. You don't have to settle, because a lot of people are settled in their lives now. People are with people that they just settle with now. Okay, so and that's one of the look what happened in my marriage, Jazz, is that we grew apart because we stopped working on the marriage. And there's probably 80% of the marriages out there are like that now. People just tolerate each other. They aren't in love anymore because they stopped working. They aren't even. A lot of people are together and they're miserable because they stopped working, but they don't want to leave the person because they're familiar with the person. That's what I wanted to hold on to. I thought it was the marriage. It was. I didn't want. I was with someone. I knew all of her. I knew her. I've seen her at her worst. I've seen her at her best. I knew there's nothing new that she can show me. So I didn't want to go through that with somebody else. Somebody maybe because everybody has another side. You don't know what that side is, right? So, but this person I knew. So I wanted to hold on to that for familiar. But once I came to grips with that's what I was trying to do, it was easier to let go. It's like, look, the marriage was over a long time ago. We were we were like roommates living in the same place. We barely communicated. Okay. So, there was no desire anymore. All that was gone. So, now actually we are good friends now. In fact, she loves the book. My ex loves the book. So, and we're able now to talk like we were not able to talk when we were married, because there's no emotions involved anymore. I don't want her back. She doesn't want me back. It's fine. We're good. You know what I mean? We're good. So now I'm really looking for somebody. Now I know what it takes to have a good relationship, and I'm not going to settle, because I'm looking for somebody who's willing to put the work in too, because I'm willing to put the work in. I have a lot to offer somebody now. You know what I mean? Because what I did after our marriage, I reflected on me, on my faults. I didn't look at her, what she was doing wrong, what she should have did. I looked at myself, because there are a lot of changes I had to make too. So I made those changes. So hey, Jazz, if you have girls out there who are looking for a guy, I got something to offer. I'm the guy now, right? Look, that's what it's all about. It's about putting some work in, and the work, it's not hard. Make it fun. But the two of you have to put work in, not just one. It's not going to work. Okay.
So, let's look at the book, and so this is your Amazon page, and we have review. We also have a little bit of information about the book, and this is where people can actually check out your book on Amazon. So it's Online Dating Over 50, and you have this classy, simple yet classy book cover over here, and this is where people can actually purchase your book. So
yeah, I was gonna put a link to the book in the chat.
Yes, this is the link.
Oh, you put it. Okay, good, very good. Okay, thank you.
Yes, so that's the link.
Also, okay, good.
This is the link.
if they go on Amazon, like if they don't have the link and they go on Amazon and they just type Terence Whitfield or
Yes.
uh,
Online dating
online
over 50.
over 50, then it'll be one of the first ones that pop up. And
Exactly.
but
Exactly.
I have it in ebook, in print, and I just loaded audio. So audio's coming soon too. Yeah, I mean
Awesome.
it's under review right now, but it should be ready like next week.
So this is a self-published book. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, it is.
Yes.
And it's the first and only book I have published right now.
So how was it? I mean, the journey of self-publishing, because I think a lot of people find self-publishing to be a bit of a daunting experience because of the amount of work that it takes. So how has it been so far for you?
Well, self-publishing is great. I think, Amazon has made it so now everybody can get involved. Amazon has made it so everyone can get involved, because the way it used to be about 20 years ago, Jazz, I attempted to write a book. I had a manuscript about our school system and how it hasn't changed since I was a child, all this stuff. And so I sent it into a publisher, and they sent it back to me, and they told me that they liked it, but they wanted me to add more. I didn't have enough material. They wanted more material. And so life happens, and I forgot about it and didn't even pursue it. But I didn't like that a publisher can look at it and say yes, no, reject it, accept it. Because I had friends who wrote manuscripts and had a number of rejections and this and that, and I feel like who are you to look at my stuff and tell me that it's not good enough, right? So self-publishing now is great, because you go on, as long as it fits Amazon standards, you can upload it. Now, whatever it does from there, that's on you, But you don't have to have someone tell you if your book is good enough. You can put your book online and let the public tell you if it's good enough. You don't need a publisher telling you that. You know what I mean? So, you have a lot of control too. Self-publishing, you have control that you wouldn't have if you went through a publisher. So no, it's great. It's awesome. And now with companies like Fiverr, where you have people, freelancers that do everything, right? And it's not expensive. You can have, like, I had someone do my cover on Fiverr. You just tell them what you want and they'll do it. It's great. I wouldn't do it any other way. Self-publishing is the way to go. Yes.
Awesome.
It's the way to go.
So do you have a website or any other links that you would want to share to the audience? No,
you know what, Jazz? I'm actually, this whole thing is new to me, so I don't have a website. But what I do have, if someone wants to ask me any questions or just kind of communicate, I can give them my email that's specifically for the book, and that's Terence K. Whitfield at Gmail, and I can put that in the chat. But Terence K. Whitfield at gmail.com is the email that they can reach me. And
I'll gmail.com.
Yes, yes.com. Yeah.
So Terence K. Whitfield, no space, no.
No, all one word.
All right. So I'm gonna also add that in. So let me know if this is the right one.
Yeah. Thank you, Jan. That's it.
Right. So that's the one.
That's it. Yep.
Yeah. So if you have any question for Terence and you want to get in touch with Terence to ask questions, you can definitely send him a message using the email address that you can see on screen right now. So if you are watching right now, those who are watching right now, you have questions or you want to get in touch with Terence, please feel free to do so. I think Terence will be very happy to take in your questions and to be in touch with you to learn more about your feedback about his book. So, Terence, it was a pleasure to have you on the show today, and I think we pretty much covered a lot of things about your book, and it was also a joy to have your friend today on screen and to share about her views about your book and how it has helped to change her perception towards online dating. And I think it was a pleasant experience to talk to the two of you. Thank you so much for joining. And Terence, before we leave, before we end our show today, what do you have to say to the audience who will be watching later on? Because as soon as we end the live interview, the replay, I mean, the whole interview can be watched pretty much immediately. So it's going to be available for replay anytime. Those who want to like watch it again, they'll be able to watch it on Facebook. And what I'm going to do is that I will be also uploading the same video, the interview video on YouTube and also on Instagram, so that it reaches out to a lot more people out there. So yeah, so to those who will be watching later on, what do you have to say to them?
Well, one thing that I have to say, yeah, that I forgot. First of all, you know, I want to thank you in advance if you have interest in the book. You know, just to go look at the book, the activity. I thank you for that. You know, I really mean that. And I'm working on book number 2 already. Book number 2 is the alternatives to online dating over 50. Because you know, if online dating is not for you, there are some alternatives. Things that you can do. So that's a good one. That's a good one. And I also put in a section. There's a lot of people that are choosing to stay single now by choice. They want to be single, and I'm going to tell you why. And so, you know, I got some good things coming up. Jazz, I got good things coming up for you too. Even though you're not even close to 50, girl, I got something for you.
Okay. I think Terence has got pretty much a lot of things for people from various stages of life, people at various stages of life, not just 50, 40, but I think we can learn a lot of things from Terence's book, especially if we are looking at relationship advices. So I'm sure the second book is going to be more interesting and very intriguing as well, because everybody is talking about online dating, and when you say that, you know, that's just something more than online dating, something, you know, beyond online dating. So I believe people will be like pretty much intrigued to learn more about that. So that will be something I'm looking forward as well, Terence. So if people would want to like get in touch with you, they can always, you know, get in touch using the email address that is on the screen right now. So thank you so much, Terence. Thank you so much for your wonderful insights and information that you've shared with us pertaining to online dating. And I think we all have learned a thing or two about online dating, especially overcoming the stigmas and the do's and don'ts. So thank you so much for joining, Terence. I look forward to speaking to you in some other time, hopefully. And all the best to you for your upcoming book.
Thank you, Jazz. It was a pleasure being on. Thank you for having us on. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
It was a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a good day. Have a good day and goodbye.
Okay, thanks, Jazz. Bye-bye.